This is Catherine Tinsley with The Nocturnal, and I'm speaking with former Nocturnal cover star Hannah Bronfman about beauty, wellness, the Super Bowl, and her recent partnership with Don Julio. The Nocturnal team will also like to congratulate Hannah and Brendan on their new baby, Preston. Are you ready to get started?
Oh, thank you so much.
Sure. Babies are such a blessing. I love kids. I'm an aunt of three, so they're the best.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. So you're a DJ, an entrepreneur, and also an influencer. What's the greatest lesson you've learned from your career thus far?
Um, I think for me, the greatest lesson I've learned thus far is to really, I think the beauty of what I do is that I haven't really pigeonholed myself into one lane. As you said in like my little intro, it's like I'm a DJ, influencer, I work in wellness, I'm an author. I think for me, I've always been interested in so many different kind of avenues and lanes, and I figured out a way to kind of connect them all. But because I'm able to play in a few different lanes, it's been really interesting throughout the last year while the world has taken such different form to really figure out which avenues will actually be the path that I go down now, right? Like, I haven't DJ'd a gig in, almost a year and a half now, at least in person. I've done a few things virtually, but, you know, it's looking more and more like that's kind of in my past. So, how do I explore the other avenues that I'm super interested in? And that's, creating content in the wellness sphere and getting to partner with brands like Don Julio for different types of activations and things like that. So I think for me, it's really just it's been a blessing to kind of be able to have that variety within the work that I do.
And with your brand HB Fit, for those of us who are stuck inside, what is your number one tip for getting healthy while staying indoors?
So I really do believe that we are kind of in like a anxiety pandemic as well as this, obviously virus pandemic. But I really think that we need to take care of our mind more now than ever. We have crazy stresses that we used to be able to tune out the noise by going out with friends, or we had our ways of coping in our old lives. Intense emotions usually lends itself to emotional eating, or staying up all night and not sleeping properly, and just losing sight of our breath work. And so I really think that those types of things can help kind of really put you back in that parasympathetic state, and so that you're more in that relaxed state and less in that fight or flight mode.
And if you, with sort of Zoom being a huge part of our lives now and everything kind of being on our webcams and our cell phones, what are your three favorite go to beauty products in order for you to get Zoom ready?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. My three go-to products, it's actually kind of easy for me right now because it's literally what I've been doing every single day, which is I love my Tarte Tape Shape concealer. Um, I'm in a shade medium and I love it. And I have been loving my lip liner from Kevin Aquan, as well as do now it's like, okay, I only have one product left. Do I choose eyebrows or do I choose cheeks?
That's a good one.
It's hard. I think for me, I'm gonna choose eyebrows. And I have a few different eyebrow gels that I love, but right now I'm actually using Glossier Boy Brow, and I find that it's doing the trick.
It's a goodie. And how
Mhm.
has your beauty and wellness routine evolved over the years?
Oh my goodness, my beauty and wellness has evolved so much over the years. I kind of I try not to be preachy, but the one thing I do preach about is really listening to yourself and being able to um, tune in and understand what your body needs and when it needs it. So my routines switch so much depending on how I'm feeling or what's going on for me. In the last, couple months, I'm really trying to prioritize sleep when I can, having a young one at home, whether that means trying to get an extra nap in the afternoon, or limiting the amount of work calls I have so that I don't overwhelm my plate. Um, it's just making sure I'm extra hydrated. Um, there's just small things that you can do to kind of set yourself up for success. Right now, I'm really not trying to um, give myself any like intense goals. Right now, it's really about limiting my stressors. And so I'm trying to just, you know, really hone in on the windows that I have during the day to get some work done. I'm diligent about kind of putting my schedule together and making sure that, there aren't four things that need to get done in one day because that's just a stress for me and that's not going to happen. I don't have that much time. Um, so yeah, so the wellness routine, it takes different shapes every week right now. I will say that the one thing I am honestly loving is just hot showers are just everything right now. They feel so therapeutic and cleansing. And so I really look forward to that every day.
And with this Sunday being a huge night for football and football fans, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what's your go-to easy meal for game night?
Oh, nachos. Honestly, my husband is such a big nacho fan, that any sort of occasion like Super Bowl is just, I mean, it's not even a question. It's nacho night.
And with game night, what's going to be your go-to light cocktail using Don Julio?
So my go-to light cocktail is Don Julio with some fresh lime, a little bit of soda water, and maybe even a salt rim. But I like to keep it light and easy. And to be honest, I mean, in my old life, I was just a tequila on the rocks type of girl. And now I need that splash of soda, and that extra squeeze of lime.
And with your recent partnership with Don Julio, what's your favorite part of partnering up with the tequila brand?
Well, it's funny. I've actually worked with Don Julio for quite some time now. We did an activation almost 3.5 years ago, also with Barry's Bootcamp. And I think for me, the best part about working with Don Julio is just I actually am a tequila drinker. I actually drink Don Julio. I find that the fact that it's a low cal um, alcohol it's easier to take down. I prefer the taste of tequila and Don Julio specifically. Um, and it's just nice to be able to work with a brand that you actually love and use. I feel like in this day and age when, um, you know, influencers are hawking product left, right, and center, it's hard to trust um, whether or not they actually use the product or not. And so for me, I really like the authenticity of our partnership, because it really is my go-to, and it has been for a decade.
And fans of yours who might watch this interview, what advice would you give them about creating kind of authentic content?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's so easy to fall into trends. Whether it's like you're seeing certain types of videos being made, like whether they're the get ready with me or what I eat in a day or certain TikTok trends that are going viral. Like it's fun to participate in some of those things, or if you want to edit a video a specific way that you saw someone else do. But I think that what your audience really likes is the fact that you're different from all those people. And so I would say to try to not fall into the trap of the trends and really just to be authentically yourself. And sometimes that's really hard to figure out what that even means. And something I have said to a few different people in the past is, it feels weird to bust out your cell phone and just like start talking to yourself on camera. It's a really weird thing to do, and it takes time to get comfortable with. But if you're the type of person who that's the type of engagement you're looking for, or that's the type of intimacy you're looking to have with your community, then practice that, you know, whether that means you have something you want to talk about and um, you just talk to your camera and maybe it takes you a few times to get comfortable or to even realize what you're trying to say, you know, just giving yourself that space to like have a mess up or whatever, I think is for a really good first starting step of getting comfortable with creating content. And then the second thing I guess I would say about creating authentic content would be um, to really like understand what your message is and what you're trying to say, and having that messaging be very consistent throughout your content. I think I certainly know I'm one of these people. I'm like a conscious consumer. I feel like I'm savvy. I feel like I can cut through all of the BS that certain people are trying to sell me. And so for me, when I try to create content, I always, think about the three things that I'm trying to hone in on. And so I'll keep that in the back of my head, right? So whether that's, um, you know, I don't even, I mean, I can't think of something like right off the top of my head in terms of this, but I was going to say like, it's just important that the messaging is consistent because you don't want to go off, you don't want to bounce all around, right? Like you want consistent values and consistent messaging. And I think that's true of any like consumer brand that we see, right? Like, you know, I don't know, let's say a vitamin brand has always had like these pillars that they are making sure their content is always touching. Um, and then they're not going to go off script one day and just go rogue. And like, that's not to say that as individuals, we don't have different opinions, especially as things develop in the outside world that I think it's important for certain influencers to speak upon. And those types of things can always be developing. And in fact, I think it's important that we leave room for people to be able to express themselves and have time to also internally um, process what's happening. I think, we put a lot of pressure on people who are um, forward facing, you know, people to just have an immediate, like, hold your messaging through and through, and try and get comfortable with yourself, and try and leave like you're like, it's trying to leave your insecurities at the door, right? We all have insecurities, no matter how confident we may or may not be. Um, so I just think it's important to, I don't know, just like feel really comfortable in your own skin. I think that's the best way to get authentic content across. That was a really long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
It's all good. The more content, the better. Monday after game day, how will you use the Motivational Monday series in order to find balance?
So I love a motivational Monday. I think it's especially for everyone staying home, I think it's really important to have that kind of accountability. And I think it's great that Barry's is doing the class because it's like maybe you signed up a week before, and so it's like it's holding you accountable. I think for so many people who don't have a set schedule, it's hard to find the motivation to fit that workout in unless you're a highly motivated person. So accountability is a great way of, getting yourself to show up. And that's what I'm looking forward to for class on Monday. And it's also kind of nice to switch up the time in my day, at least of when I am working out, just to see how I feel. And I know that on Monday it's an afternoon class, and so I almost am looking forward to like giving it my all and then having like a really delicious, like large dinner afterwards. Because it's always important to fuel your body post workout.
Absolutely. And what's your favorite part about working out with Barry's Bootcamp?
Honestly, for me, it's really just the mental release I get. I mean, of course, it's all physical, right? But it's the endorphins, it's the sweat, it's the focus that I have in the class itself. It's nice to have that hour to really just be present. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited
Thank
that we're
you.
doing this.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for it to come out.
Me too.
All right, have a good one.
Okay, you as well. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.